Welcome back. Well, with me right now is Eric Woolery. Now, Eric is the current Auditor-Controller here in Orange County. He is also an incumbent candidate for that position coming up. Welcome.
Hi.
Nice to have you on today.
Thank you for having me this morning.
Yeah, so let's first talk about, there's a lot of different departments within the county and cities and all that often don't get a lot of press about them so much, and people don't know exactly what they do. Right. The name's kind of sufficient here,
right.
But tell us what the Auditor-Controller does and why is it so important?
Well, it's important that it's independent for a lot of reasons. We have three main functions. We are the county's top accountant, so we're looking into keeping fiscal responsibility and integrity in the system. We also are the calculator of property tax. So the assessor assesses, but that data comes into my office, and then we calculate that out and we make sure that's accurate as well. And we also have the county's audit function, where we look into the different departments, make sure they're using best practices, provide management services to support the board and the county's management.
Okay, would you also look into the authorities, meaning the fire authority, or are they separate, and the sheriffs, or are they kind of considered separate?
Our authority is a little different with those, because the fire authority is a JPA, Joint Powers Authority, and how we look at that is I have to make sure they get audited every year.
Okay.
And once they send me their audit, then we're good. If they don't, then I have the authority and the duty to go in and audit them myself.
Okay, all right. Now, one of the things that you talk about and that you're proud of is the Taxpayer Watchdog. You can see we got the logo up there.
The Jameson, yes.
Yeah, and you talked about the importance of your office, but it's about how is this money being spent? Is it being regulated, or is it following the regulations and being put where it should?
Correct. Yeah, and the Taxpayer Watchdog is, when I came to office, I felt like I was the watchdog for the citizens, keeping an eye on that tax money and make sure that it's spent properly, legally, etc. And we use the Taxpayer Watchdog logo and everything as a constant reminder to myself and to the staff in my office on who we work for, which is the taxpayer, and who should foremost be in our mind. Further that program, we have community events like town halls, where we try to create that fiscal literacy, because government finance, as you know, can be very Byzantine and very difficult to understand. And in order to get that good engagement with the citizens, we want to bring that to them and kind of do the nuts and bolts so they understand what's going on.
Yeah, and I think it's very important. Now, you were elected, if I'm right, back 4 years ago.
2014, yes.
What did you do prior to that?
I was the head of administration for the Riverside County District Attorney's Office.
Oh, okay.
So I had county experience working in the public protection arena.
What made you come down to Orange County? Did you live up there and move down here?
I'm a longtime resident of Orange. 20 years ago, I was elected to the county school board as part of the bankruptcy, after the bankruptcy, to help clean up.
In the 90s, right?
Some of the issues that had gone on then. I've always been engaged in politics here in Orange County, and when the previous Auditor-Controller retired, it opened up an opportunity, and several friends who are involved in politics said, "We always thought you would be great for that job, so you should run for it." And we had a spectacular result. Out of 5 candidates, me being one, I got 57%, which we actually look back in the history of electoral in Orange County, and they couldn't find anybody with a result that was that commanding.
Yeah, exactly. Plus you cut down on your commute, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's talk about a couple issues. One of them, because it was in the news, is that your office was being sued, or there was allegations that you were using taxpayer money or something to shuttle your kids around or something like that.
And it was a political stunt by my opponent. I was named in a lawsuit with the county.
Right.
My opponent, as soon as we got it before a judge, I was dropped off of the lawsuit.
Yes, you were.
And my opponent is running, and wants the voters, taxpayers, to elect her to oversee in a department where she was fired.
And she was in your department, am I right?
Yes, director of internal audit.
All right.
And so I just say, if you are going to be transparent with the voters, you should release your termination letter and your personnel documents so that the voters can make and judge for themselves on your qualifications.
Okay, very good. And of course, Eric himself cannot talk about that for various reasons.
Right, exactly, because it's an ongoing suit.
Like any kind of job or something where people are let go and all. If they want to talk about it, they can.
Well, and it's frustrating. I want the truth to come out, but I got to protect the taxpayers by not talking about these things.
Right, of course. Now, let's talk about another issue because it's always in the news every couple of years, is Proposition 13. And the reason it always seems to be getting in the news is they're around the state. Sometimes there's certain county and city leaders saying we got to relook at that. There are others that are saying no.
Well, yeah, and
can't.
I agree. Prop 13 needs to be protected.
Yeah.
Right now they're attacking it. There's always these little attacks with the split roll and everything that come in. About a year ago, there was a study out of a real estate group out of the Bay Area, and I took them to task because I found flaws in their assessment, and they said, hey, Prop 13 needs to go up because there's a disparity in taxes, like between Laguna Beach and I think the city of Beaumont was their examples. I did some studies, and I went back to when Prop 13 passed in 1978 and 79, and I found that the sales tax and the income tax rates in the state were much lower than they are today. So what's happened is government, in order to even out its spending, has raised the other two taxes. There's three big taxing ways: property tax, sales tax, income tax.
Right.
So what happened is the state has taken into account Prop 13 by raising these other tax revenue sources. So to get rid of the Prop 13 protections would be a little disingenuous without putting additional protections on sales and income taxes. Otherwise, we're just taking more money to pay for a lot of things. And that's why I get back to my watchdog. I want people to be engaged and understand where that money is being spent. So then if they want to raise taxes, they have a better idea of what that's going for.
Okay.
As opposed to just unknown spending.
Yeah, exactly. So probably more than likely, it's in the near future, it's probably going to stay as it is because as they say,
it's like a third rail.
It's a third rail. Yeah, definitely. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and
my pleasure.
Of course, the primary is coming up in June, and you've been doing this now for 4 years. You've got a lot of experience behind you.
Okay.
And if people want to go to your website, is it just Eric Woolery?
OCAuditor.com.
Okay, so that is your website.
No, that's the county's website, and that's where they could get a lot of our reports on audits and our citizens report and anything else about the county's finances.
Okay, and you also have your own candidacy website.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's...
I think I have it up there. Eric Woolery. That's pretty easy.
Oh yeah, that's
pretty easy to remember, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Sir, thank you very much for letting us know what this office is all about, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for your time.
Take care. We'll be right back. Bye. We'll get you unhooked in just a minute.